Hey guys, today I want to talk about an article that was in the USA Today business section on February 21st, written by Paul Davidson. The article is entitled, Mexican Retaliation Could Hurt Corn Farmers. Man, I'm learning more and more about this. I know I did the one earlier about how Trump's 20% tariff on Mexican products sold in America could hurt cattle ranchers in Texas. I didn't know that. One of the things that I learned in that article was they sort of mentioned in that article briefly about all of the ancillary products connected to cattle. But this isn't even, I mean, corn is sometimes used for feed, but I didn't know this. We actually, when it comes, so they've talked a lot going into this election and since Trump has been elected about we have a trade deficit, meaning we import more products than we export. And obviously that's a problem. That's why we've lost a lot of jobs. But in agriculture, we actually have a trade surplus. I did not know that. So I'll give you some quick statistics here. Mexico buys 27% of all corn that it is exported out of this country, which roughly translates to about $2 billion. Mexico buys $2 billion of American corn every year. They just surpassed Japan at 22%, Colombia's at 9%, South Korea 8%, and Peru at 5%. So since Trump started talking, you know, he's talking this rhetoric in the campaign, and I don't know if some people took him seriously, and now that he is. And I'm going to do another article. There's another article about how private prison industry is going to benefit from additional border security. That's a whole separate thing. So that's where he's going for the money. But I don't think he took into consideration that this is going to hurt agriculture because a Mexican senator, Armando Rios Peter, is introducing a bill to stop buying U.S. corn. He wants Mexico to stop buying U.S. corn. Now, the article goes into maybe this is just a tactic because Mexico's pretty pissed off, and rightfully so, because what that would do is increase Mexico's cost of probably 40 to 50 cents a bushel of them having to buy corn. So Mexico would have to buy corn from other countries, probably in other Central and South American countries, which would increase their cost. But that's a game of chicken they might be willing to play because they're so offended by this border and basically it's a trade war. So they're going to like, well, we're going to flex our economic muscle. We're not going to buy $2 billion worth of your corn, which would hurt the American farmer immensely. Now, some farmers could switch from corn to soybean this spring if they're really worried about this. And we ship more soybean to other parts of the world that potentially might not get affected. But I'm already starting to see, like, there was another article I read where the request for visas for people to come into this country, not just from the 7 banned Muslim countries, but just all over the world are like, oh, I don't even want to come in here. So the purchasing of visas, which is a revenue stream, and then tourism dollars is already being affected because people are like, I don't want to come into this crazy country now. It also would mean that beef, poultry, and pork could be affected. Those, again, that's part of we have an agricultural trade surplus because we have such a rich agricultural economy in this country. And you don't realize that we ship it to a lot of different places. That was one of the things that in the Texas cattle rancher article that I talked about and closing down the TPP is going to hurt their beef sales to Japan. So what this says now, and they're talking about, obviously he wants to shut down NAFTA, and this could be a part of that. This could really hurt I'm not some giant proponent of NAFTA. I'm just saying that the border wall, the tariffs, and NAFTA are all connected. And there's a senator, Charles Gainsly, a Republican from Iowa, wants, quote, strong agricultural provisions if NAFTA is overhauled. So this is another thing to pay close attention to. And if what this would mean is then corn prices would actually drop if 27% of our exports stop happening to Mexico. It would mean agricultural prices would drop, which now that might sort of benefit the average American consumer, but it would devastate the agricultural industry. That's why this Republican senator from Iowa. So if you live in corn country, I would petition your senators and congresspeople to pay close attention to this and maybe ask them to pressure Trump to back off a little bit, because this trade war with Mexico could really hurt a lot of industries, except private prisons, and we'll get into that next.